We're calling in a tuner for a power ballad, and we're having my mother's wedding in the back room. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Offscreen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom! Groovy.
Hello, and welcome back to another week of Offscreen with a load of brand new movies to look at in a moment with Van. We're going to look at Backrooms, we're going to look at Tuner, which is... I'm really intrigued about Tuner because it's about a piano tuner. So, I mean, how are you going to make a movie?
It is and it isn't. I mean, the main character's a piano tuner, yeah, but it's actually more of like a heist movie, like a Baby Driver type movie. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's very good, but we'll get to it anyway.
All right, we'll look at that in just a second. But as always, we're going to start with the UK and Ireland box office top 10. So, at number 10 this week is The Christophers. 2 weeks that's been out, £841,000.
I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked. I like the film, but, you know, I like a lot of films that make no money, and I thought this was one of them. I mean, obviously not setting the box office alight. Didn't it enter last week at, like, number 7 or number 6, something like that?
Yeah.
And now it's down 10. So it'll be out the top 10 next week. And do you know what? It is what it is. You know, it's Ian McKellen, it's Michaela Cole. It's a very nice little in the art world, kind of like get to know one another, kind of a character piece, mentor, protege type thing with a bit of bite that would be shocking if you've never seen a movie before, kind of an idea. I say I liked it. I kind of wanted more from it. Kind of stopped as it was getting going. It's not the only film out at the moment in which that happens. Incidentally, where is Normal in the? Normal is not even in the top 15
no, it's not.
This week. Wow. Although Tom and Jerry Forbidden Compass is at number 15. Are you kidding me? Anyway, besides
Half term.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Okay, The Christophers. I liked it. I didn't love it. It's perfectly fine, but do you know what? It's probably going to find its audience on a Tuesday night at 7 p.m. on Film 4 in about 6 months' time.
At number 9, well, we talk of half term. That's why I believe this is still hanging in the top 10. The Super Mario Galaxy movie. 9 weeks now it's been out. I think 9 weeks it's been in the top 10. It's on 37.5 million quid.
Do you know, I got a great experience the other day. I got to speak to my 7-year-old nephew. My mother was babysitting my nephew, and it was when the weather was like it is at the time of recording, you know, blistering hot. So they were in the living room, like with the aircon on and things like that. And I'm doing this FaceTime call with him, and he's got something paused on the TV behind him. What are you watching? He says, "Oh, we've got Super Mario Galaxy on." And in that moment, I thought, it's amazing how things come full circle, because in 1993, when I was 10 years old, I made my father take me to the cinema to see the Bob Hoskins live-action Super Mario movie.
Yeah.
And it's, amongst all the terrible things I've ever done to my parents, that's the worst one I've ever done to either of them. I find it incredible that my nephew has repeated the tradition with the Super Mario. So I got to hear my nephew's take on it, and also my mother's. My mother described it as absolutely unbearable. And my 7-year-old nephew described it as brilliant. I loved it.
So there you go. Point made.
Point made. Also, let's hazard a guess as to which one of the two of them owns a Nintendo Switch. You know what I mean?
Exactly that.
Job done there, really, isn't it?
It's doing well, and you know, it's probably going to be there still. I mean, I'm surprised still 9 weeks, but I suppose if it's taking the money and they're not going to put it into streaming or anything else, are they?
It's on digital, different places around the world, obviously. But, it's still making money in cinemas because, like you say, it's the half-term effect, isn't it? And they've still got loads of those Yoshi popcorn buckets in every Odeon, as far as I know.
Right, well, that's at number 9. At number 8 is Finding Emily. That's only been out a week. 212,000 that's taken so far.
I would argue that's £212,751 more than it probably deserves. I'm kidding, it's not that bad. It's cute but clunky, you know what I mean? It's got the worst lead I've seen in a movie this year. Like, Spike Fern is truly abysmal in the lead. Like, he's genuinely terrible. But then you've got Angourie Rice, who's actually really charming and likeable in it, and you've got a script that whenever it's writing for her is quite charming and likeable, and when it's writing for him is just the worst. I mean, it's a bizarre script that's quite clearly been written by a middle-aged person who doesn't know how, like, uni-age people speak. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? There's a point at which the characters, like, offhandedly reference giving someone the ick, and it's, like, it's quite clear whoever wrote this has never heard that term before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, one of those.
Or remembers it from 20 years ago or when it first came out. So that's at number 8. At number 7, Passenger. Again, 1 week, £335,000.
Did you check the distributor name on the sheet before you?
I
asked?
did.
Mate,
So I'm guessing you've not seen this one.
I've not seen it. I am still blacklisted from all of Paramount's movies for calling one of their publicists who was there for 6 months 8 years ago a bad word. He deserved it. In my defence.
Number 6, The Sheep Detectives. That's still hanging in there. 3 weeks, 6.5 million. That's that on now.
Brilliant. I love this. This is one of my favourite movies of the year. I can't wait to see this again. I genuinely can't. I never thought, when I heard the concept, I got told this by a friend of mine in the pub, and I thought, that just sounds bonkers. What on earth? And I think it was a day later I saw the trailer on like an Instagram reel, because I don't think it had been properly released. It was on the Instagram reel. Like, okay, I will admit, that actually looks pretty charming. And then saw the actual movie, and even better than I expected. Like, infinitely better, because it did that triple threat thing of going after the kids by being Babe the Gallant Pig, going after the millennials by being Hot Fuzz, going by the boomers by being the Thursday Murder Club. And that is a brilliant trick. You could have dumped one of those three and still been brilliant. But they managed to pull off all three. I got no notes. I think everything about it works.
It's on my list. I want my little boy to see that. I think it would be perfect. We'll be chuckling away together.
You mean perfect?
I don't know how to pronounce this one at number 5. Is it Drishyam or Drishyam 2?
Drishyam 2, I think. It's the latest Yash Raj release. Now, obviously not a new one, because its weeks on release have it listed as 184 weeks. So I'd imagine this is a reissue or something. But either way, it wasn't press show. Couldn't tell you.
Number 4, The Devil Wears Prada 2. It's been out for 4 weeks, and that's doing well. 30 million. There's obviously a lot of people who remember The Devil Wears Prada and wanted to see this one.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of critics did as well. It's just a shame we weren't allowed to, see it, because we're not influencers. Anyway, what's at number 3?
Obsession at number 3. It's been out for 2 weeks. 3.9 million. That's out on now.
Oh, that one I like. No, I really like Obsession. Obsession, just because this is going to come up in relation to another film later on this episode of this show. Obsession is, until this week, was the most recent horror movie made as a feature debut by a YouTuber. In this case, Obsession, I think it was a YouTube sketch comic. He had actually made a feature, but I think it was on YouTube. And I think this is a feature actually put in cinemas, like treated as a feature film. And of course, we know what it is. It's the male wish fulfillment. I wish the girl who friend zoned me loved me more than anyone in the world, only for her to turn into a ravenous psychopath. It is also, conversely, works on the angle of exploring the loss of female agency, specifically through the lens of that character, and it works aplomb with both. I'm genuinely impressed by this. I know he's got his second film. It's Curry Barker, I think, is the writer-director of this one. He's got his second film in the can already. He's being heavily scouted and wooed for his would-be third project. At the moment, it's in all the trades this week. But the one thing I'm loving about this is it had a little bit of buzz and a little bit of word of mouth the first week, but for its second weekend, it did so much better. That word of mouth really paid off. I think the virality, the viral nature of the sort of love object character works. I can't even remember her name now. I remember it's Indy Navarrete is the name of the actress. I don't remember the name of the character anymore. But the second week box office really reflects the idea that it was the viral nature of this character and the word of mouth absolutely sending it stratospheric.
Well, at number 2, it's still hanging in there in the top 3. It is Michael, 6 weeks now, and it's the biggest grossing movie at the moment, 44 million quid.
This has got to be one of the highest earners of the year.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it, because I checked before we came on mics. I thought, when it comes up, Adam's going to ask. So I have checked what it's made worldwide. Right?
Good,
so
okay.
As of today, Michael stands at $797 million worldwide.
Do we know how much it cost to make?
I think it's about 150 actually. So it's more than in profit. However, the thing that I noted about that is I still think there's a chance this will likely get $1 billion. But where it is right now is a very interesting spot. It's $103 million behind Bohemian Rhapsody, which is the highest grossing one of the music biopics. So
it might do it. It might do it.
I think it will overtake Bohemian Rhapsody for sure. I think it's likely it'll hit $1 billion. But that one, it's more likely for one than the other.
At number 1 this week, which we could have predicted, of course, it was out last week. Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. 5.2 million quid now in 1 week.
Do you know, every time a Star Wars movie opens, and it immediately opens at number 1, and it makes like 5 million quid in its opening weekend, etc., I'm always reminded, and I mean every time, every single time this happens, I'm always reminded of being a little kid, being like 10 or 11 years old. Were you a Star Wars fan when you were like 10, 11 years old?
I watched the first one when it first came out, or when I was a little bit, maybe a few years later. And then I had friends that had like the big, what was the big like walking dog toy that they had? I forgot what the names of them.
Oh, the AT-AT.
That's it. He had the big one of those that we used to play with in the garden and stuff. So I was sort of into it to that point, but I never religiously wanted to watch all the movies.
Well, because I was a kid in the 1990s, I always remember the default setting of all kids being, Star Wars is insert curse word here. And my response when this carried on for years and years was, as soon as the prequels started coming out, it's really funny that all of you, insert curse word here, but pluralise, all say this, and yet every single time one of these movies opens, it's always at number 1 at the box office, with a box office taking that really suggests that it couldn't just have been fans going to see it. So I'm really curious if everybody apparently thinks that Star Wars is insert curse word here. Who's seeing it exactly? And given the absolute vitriolic cascade that has befallen this movie, like the absolute wave of bile and negativity that's been poured over The Mandalorian Grogu, I ask again, I'm sorry, who's seeing this movie? If everyone's so against it, if Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm doesn't know how to make a Star Wars movie, I'm sorry, who's seeing these movies exactly? Because I didn't pay for it. I saw it at a press show. I know me and the 200 or 300 people with me, we didn't pay for it. So, who are these people coughing up $5.25 million? Funny that. Anyway, I think it's very good. Again, 7-year-old nephew can't wait to see it. I've other friends who've like taken their kids and seen it and all loved it. And it's funny that I don't think I know anyone who's like been a member of the public and gone and seen it who hasn't loved it. And I find that kind of the most interesting stat on this one. Like, the critics have had the issue, like myself included. I made the comment to you about you can reductively say it's a couple episodes of the show stitched together. But no member of the general public seems to care in the slightest. So you know what? I'm throwing my hands up and calling this one an absolute win.
I've only seen good things as well, to be fair, so I would agree with that. Well, that is the UK and Ireland current top 10 for you. We are moving on to some new stuff then, new movies coming out. We're going to look at Backrooms and Tuna in just a sec. Stay there. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. Let's dive straight in with some new movies. We've got Backrooms to look at in a second, but first we are going to talk about the movie called Tuna, which is about a piano tuner. And I know Van's laughing at me because of the way I say tuna, but that's how we say it in England.
Right, I'm just going to say, there's a point in the movie where, for seemingly no apparent reason, the characters start discussing tuna fish. and I can't help but wonder. Like, I just can't, because I know, obviously, the lead in it is a Brit. So I have to imagine that he was on set constantly referring to it as tuna all the time. And that's what, and they just thought, you know what, it'd be funny if we just stick this in. And there were giggles in the press show, because I clearly was not the only person to think it. Right, new movie from Daniel Roa, who I knew his name and I couldn't figure out why until I checked the IMDb just now. And it's because he was the director of Blink a couple of years ago, which remember we talked about.
Yes.
This stars Leah Woodall, who I primarily think of as the young, like, May December romance object from the last Bridget Jones movie. You know, the young guy that Bridget Jones hooks up with.
Yeah.
But he was also in Nuremberg, the Rami Malek, Russell Crowe movie. That surprisingly good movie in which Russell Crowe had to play a Nazi. And it was just, never stop, Russ, never stop, we love you. I do even more after that viral video this week of him and the autograph crowd, because I'm sorry, that man did nothing wrong. He is a treasure.
I saw that.
He's a legend. That man is a legend.
Nothing wrong with that at all. I thought that was fair to just be like, look, let me just, I'll come and see you all. Just give me some space. And if you don't,
first
I'm
one
off.
of you acts up, I'm done. Yeah, first one acts up, I'm done.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Like I say, I met him once years ago, and I was bracing for the worst, and he was the nicest guy in the universe. Not even kidding. Literally walked in a room in his jogging bottoms, just humming to himself, hands in pockets. Just what a ledge. Anyway,
Yeah.
he's not in this, sadly, but Dustin Hoffman is. Anyway, right. So Leo Woodall is a piano tuner. Okay, he's a trainee apprentice piano tuner. He has been raised. His father was a legendary piano player, passed away when he was young, say in his early teens, and he was taken in by his father's friend, who he sees as an uncle. He's played by Dustin Hoffman, and the uncle runs a piano tuning business and has taken the young man onto his, in as his protege. Hoffman then has a heart attack. And is faced with, because of course this is set in the United States, is faced with tens upon tens of thousands in medical bills, as you do, And in order to pay this, his young protege discovers that his ability to tune pianos, because of a hearing condition he has, also makes him uniquely qualified to crack safes. Literally.
Oh.
Yeah. And before you know it, he's gotten in bed with the wrong bad guys. Have a listen. This is quite a cutesy scene early on with Hoffman still up and around, and our young lead in a diner meeting a potential love interest for our young lead.
Hi, nice to see you again.
Hey. Introduce me. I don't know her name.
I'm Ruthie.
Hello, Ruthie. I'm Harry Horowitz. You can call me Harry. Just don't call me late for dinner. Thrumpum.
Steal that line from my grandmother?
No, I never stole anything in my life. This is Nicky. He is my tuning apprentice. He's more like my nephew, though we're not related. And I'll tell you one thing. He is very eligible, but he has a hearing condition, as you can see from his plugs, which are not hearing aids, although that's a common mistake. He's not being rude. It's doctor's orders. And did I mention, he is very eligible.
Harry,
What?
please stop.
I really like the sound of this. It's got sort of Mission Impossible vibes to it for me.
If I were going to describe it as anything, actually, I would say, have you ever been in Waitrose? You've been in a Waitrose, right? And you're in, and you see like a random thing that they have like a Waitrose Essentials version of.
Yep.
And it's always something. It's like, why would there need to be an Essentials version of this? Like,
Yeah.
on what planet is halloumi considered an essential?
Quinoa.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like Essentials, Waitrose Essentials, quinoa. Like, no one needed this as an essential. Right. I had this thought all the time. It's like, this is the Waitrose Essentials Baby Driver, for lack of a better term. Do you remember Baby Driver, where he was hearing impaired and he had to have the headphones in for the music? Right, this is the other way around, where he's got these ear things in to dim his hearing. He has oversensitive hearing. But otherwise, it's the same damn movie without the car chases. Like, they flipped the hearing condition and taken the car chases out. Although they are kind of played the same way. It's also a really illogical movie in terms of like how its villains work, because the manner of going about things is kind of odd. But yeah, neither here nor there. However, an entertaining, a very interesting movie, I did find. Like, I think Raw's brought quite an interesting Rower, maybe I'm calling him Raw. An interesting sensibility to this, where it leans into the sort of, the varnished prestige that you would expect of a movie about someone who tunes pianos for a living. But it doesn't exactly slack on the action thriller stakes either. It is a muted down version of that. Like, don't go in this expecting Baby Driver, but do expect the adjusted for the Waitrose shopper version of it. You know what I mean? It's like going from reading NME to reading the Waitrose in-store magazine by comparison. But, I'd say there are things about it that I really loved as well. I think Woodall's a very good lead, for one thing. Dustin Hoffman is the world's greatest support. And I say that not just about this film, but just about any movie he's ever been a supporting player in. He's fantastic. The man just owns a screen whenever he's around. And then you've got Havana Rose Liu as the love interest you could hear in the clip there. And this is one of two movies she's in this week, in which she yet again plays the thankless love interest. So look forward to that coming back in about 10 minutes' time. I don't think an especially amazing actress. I'm not sure why she's having a moment, but, we all have good agents occasionally. But I liked it. Like I say, I don't think the Baby Driver crowd are going to go nuts for it, because it's not the same tempo, that's for sure. But I think the slightly older, more upper scale Waitrose Essentials version of that audience may find this a lot more agreeable.
Okay, well, that is Tuna, and it's in cinema, and that's not the fish type. Tuna in the cinemas from now. All right, let's move on to Backrooms then. So this is a psychological thriller, I think, and this does look pretty good.
I mean, it's a psychological thriller. It definitely has its legs in horror as well. Are you familiar with the source material of this? Because I wasn't. No, you're on. I think you're on mute, by the way. But anyway,
I was on mute, but yeah, no, I don't actually. I don't know anything about it.
So from what I've sort of gleaned, Backrooms was a series of YouTube shorts about 4 years ago by a young filmmaker named Kane Parsons, who goes by the name Kane Pixels, I think, because maybe he's been tagged on anything online, so it was at Kane Pixels. And the idea was that this was phenomenally popular on YouTube. It was very found footage based, and he's now been sort of snapped up and given, like, I think it's 10 mil by Lionsgate? 10 mil by A24, sorry, to make a feature adaptation of this, which for the most part ditches the found footage element and goes with much more of a conventional narrative. So we follow Chiwetel Ejiofor, who in the early 1990s is sort of down on his luck, furniture salesman, runs this big sort of like retail park furniture store, which looks like literally every retail park store you'll ever find in the American Midwest. Trust me on that one. It's just that they're usually thrift stores. Anyway, one night, whilst, because his relationship has fallen apart, he's living in the store, effectively, literally sleeping in the display bed overnight. One night, whilst, fiddling with the power, he notices a light shining through a crack in the wall, and he discovers that you can actually walk through the wall as if it's a portal. And he finds himself in what seems to be the same sort of aesthetic as the store. Like it's clearly like the same kind of an empty version of the same office space, but it just goes on and on and on. And he tells his psychiatrist this, and he begins to explore it, only to go missing, and to force his psychiatrist to come after him to find out just what in the hell has happened. Now, this is not a dialogue-heavy movie, and this is not a dialogue-heavy clip. But I will give you the best I can from the trailer. Have a listen.
I found something in the store.
Okay. What did you find?
The place. I found a place.
Hello?
I mean, it certainly sets the right tone, and I've seen the trailer for this, and if I'm quite honest with you, from what I've seen, it's like a fever dream.
Yes, it very much has that. Now, I'll start with the positives and then get to the negatives. The positives of this is incredibly well made. If this is someone's feature film debut, like coming from YouTube, like I bet we're 3 for 3 in that regard lately. Like, wow, okay. Like, this is actually somehow setting the bar even higher. I still don't think it's as fun a movie as Obsession by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, production-wise, we are setting the bar very high here. Performances by Chiwetel Ejiofor, and I can never remember her name, but it's Renata Riensve, I think her name is. They are really the two big names. Mark Duplass has a smaller role as well. But performances, production, can't fault it. Cinematography, can't fault it. Set design, you definitely can't fault it for, because that's the entire appeal of the movie, right? Apparently they used Blender and visual effects to do it for the YouTube shorts, but for the purposes of the movie, they have literally built, 3,000 feet? 3,000 square feet or something like that for the set?
I can believe it.
It's so large that apparently people working on it were constantly getting lost. Yeah, I can believe it having seen the movie. Yeah. However, it falls victim to the age-old trap. The age-old trap that comes with horror debuts, that comes with people starting out in their filmmaking career and choosing to start through horror, which is because you have horror as the bedrock, and you can get away with a lot if you simply provide the actual horror, it does allow you to skimp on the writing front and basically deliver a concept that's not terribly well fleshed out. And if you're called on it, you can just go, I was setting up for a sequel, aren't I? You're like, were you though? Yeah, because this has that feel about it. This really has that feel of you did not know what the hell you were doing, and if anyone ever calls you on this, you are simply going to say it was for a sequel, aren't you? I will bet you dollars to donuts that is exactly what happens here, because there are long, long stretches of this movie that make no damn sense whatsoever. Was I bored? No, not especially. I was still taken in by the production, the set design of it, the performance. I was still taken in by it, but I never quite escaped the feeling of, hot damn, this makes no sense.
Do you know what? That comes in the same realms of, did you ever see The Platform?
Yeah, do you know what though? Yeah, and to be fair, Platform did exactly the same thing. But you know what? They then got the sequel, and they actually did flash it out in the sequel, to be fair.
There's a sequel to The Platform? I've not seen that yet.
Yeah, they're both on Netflix, man. There's Platform too.
Oh, right. Now I know what I'm doing this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
There you go.
Well,
who knew? Wait a minute. All the subtitled films I can't get you to watch, and you've seen the damn Platform.
yeah, I really enjoyed The Platform. Yeah, I did.
For sure. It took me, 8 years to get you to watch The Raid, but you've seen the Platform.
Yeah, and I want to watch The Platform too as well. Brilliant.
Fair enough.
Well, Backrooms is already in cinemas. If you do want to go and see it, you can. Right, we're going to look at Power Ballad next. What is this, a horror?
Yeah, I know. Do you know what it is? It's an action comedy. That's what it is.
Well, we're going to see what Van thought of it in just a second. We'll be back. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. We are going to look at My Mother's Wedding, which is out in cinemas from today in a little while. But let's dive into Power Ballad. And I'm told on good authority that I would probably like this.
I think you'd love this, to be really honest. Right, first question. Are you? I think we established this last week. You're not familiar with the works of John Carney, as far as I know, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay, because there's one I'm not familiar with, would you believe, from a couple of years ago called Flora and Son. There's 4 films, and the fourth one, because it was released by Apple TV, it didn't really make the radar, didn't make the public consciousness, but I will watch it now. Primarily, in 2006, he sort of burst onto the scene with the movie Once. You know the movie that has that song Falling Slowly? Yeah, okay, that was his first one. Right, there you go. The second one, 2013, was Begin Again, with Mark Ruffalo, Keira Knightley, and who's the git from Maroon 5 who nobody likes?
Adam Levine.
Adam Levine, thank you, yeah. Housewife's favourite who thinks he's a rock star. That one. Very, very good movie, and I think the best of his ones, but also the best soundtrack. And then in 2016, we had Sing Street, which is the 1980s set one about a young schoolboy who seeks to impress a girl by discovering punk rock and becomes a punk. And it's brilliant, absolutely fantastic. We then had Flora and Son in 2023, which I haven't seen, and we now have Power Ballad. So, this one, he writes and directs them usually. This one he has co-written. He's directed, but he's co-written with Peter MacDonald, and it stars Paul Rudd and Nick Jonas. The premise here is because Carney is an Irish man, Paul Rudd is an American, washed-up former musician who's living in Ireland. Basically, when he was in his sort of 20s, he moved to 20s, 30s, he was doing a gig in Ireland, met a girl, they fell in love, he never left. Kind of thing, and he put his dreams on hold to have a family with her, to have a daughter with her. Said daughter is now a teenager. And he is sort of eking out a living, because he still, doesn't want to let go of his musical sort of ambitions. And he's kind of eking out a living in a wedding band. Basically just doing cover songs for weddings. But of course, he's a good performer, so he tends to do fairly well with it. He has arguments with his band all the time about how he wants to relive his glory days, and here's a song I did when I was younger that was relatively successful, things like that. The band disagrees. And at one of these weddings, one of the guests happens to be a former American boy band member who's just a friend of the bride and groom, who's just a guest at the wedding. Played by Nick Jonas. Think, if you will, imagine Justin Timberlake about a year after NSYNC split. Mm-hmm. Right, so imagine before he drops the Justin solo album and after NSYNC. In that interim, that's basically where Nick Jonas's character is at. And the pair, he and Paul Rudd, sort of bond on stage, and they have a few drinks afterwards and a bit of a party. And it works out that he's got a whole recording studio in his hotel room because, of course, he does. He's famous, And so the pair just spend the night jamming, and Paul Rudd helps him out, maybe you should try that, maybe you should try this kind of thing. And towards the end of the night, when they've had more than a few, Paul Rudd's character plays this song. You're going to hear the song in a minute, don't worry. Plays this bit of a song that he's been developing for years. And that's it. Just goes off on his merry, lives his life. Until one day, he hears this song on the radio. And wouldn't you know it, our would-be Timberlake has in fact dropped his debut solo single. And it happens to bear not even just an uncanny resemblance to Rudd's song. It is that song. And nobody believes him. So have a listen. This is a clip from Powerball. This is him playing the song on a laptop to his family.
Well?
It's lovely. Why are we listening to it?
You don't recognize it?
Should I?
Yeah, of course, yes, you should. That's my chorus and verse. Are you serious?
You wrote that.
I sung it for you. You don't remember?
When?
Well, I mean, it would have been...
I don't remember that. A lot of music gets played around here. You couldn't remember the half of it.
Look at that. It's already up to 2 million views. Thing just came out yesterday. I like what he did with it. It's pretty good.
Are we gonna be rich?
A reason why you need to copyright the songs when you write them and post them back to yourself and don't open the envelope.
Exactly that. Yes, there's a lot of cautionary telling going on in this one, definitely, especially if you've ever worked in the creative arts, trust me. Right. I personally don't think that the world was crying out for a feature film adaptation of Flaming Moe's. But if anyone was going to make a live-action feature film adaptation of Flaming Moe's, do you know what? I'm really bloody glad it was John Carney. Because there is a quality to his films. Having discovered that there was a fourth movie that I'd never seen. Like, that's top of the watch list for me now. Wait, there is a John Carney movie that I didn't know about? Like, sign me up, hook it to my veins, pour it directly into me. Like, the man just has a way with tone, with almost the melody of drama. The wonderful ebbs and flows, the way that these kind of dramedies come with verse and chorus, and then verse, chorus, bridge. You know, that musical structure is something he very much applies to his films. This is the most basic one of them. Of the four I've seen, I'm aware that there are now 5. Obviously, I've only seen 4. I'll revise this opinion possibly next week, I'm sure, when this is probably number 9 in the box office top 10. But I just think his way of doing these things takes something that is so incredibly basic, that is, as I say, it's a Simpsons episode brought to life. And that's not a criticism, because one of the number 3 in the box office top 10 at this moment in time is literally, by its own director's admission, an adaptation of a Simpsons episode, Obsession. It's the monkey's paw episode of the Simpsons, if you're not following. So that's not really a criticism. It's one of those things. I'm really surprised he kind of did this. But then again, you think, okay, Begin Again was a little bit challenging, I suppose. It asks slightly more difficult questions, but they are quite slimline, kind of like simplistic films. Performance-wise, they've nailed it. They've nailed it with this one. So Rudd, perfect for the age of the character, the tone of the character, the anger of the character, the likability, everything about this character, Paul Rudd just could sleepwalk through. But he doesn't. He chooses to bring some real heart and heft to it. It's also worth noting, I wasn't actually sure about this one, but Paul Rudd's actually a pretty good singer. Like, seeing him, and it's obviously him as well. It's so obvious that it's Paul Rudd singing.
I'm sure he used to be in a band.
He probably was at some point. I mean, the man's been alive for a century without aging, so at some point he must have been in a band. But, you know what I mean, the man, he's a vampire. The man is a vampire. But, and then you've got Nick Jonas. Now, Nick Jonas should be, I mean, obviously he is the infinitely more difficult part to cast in this film, because it's so easy to get wrong and much more difficult to get right. And purely in terms of the casting of Jonas, there's a message there, I think, which is, actually, we don't want him to be too young, because that makes him a little bit less likable. We want him to be hot, but we don't want him to be like smolder sexy, because then again, that kind of ruins any relatability. And in order for the story to work, which is, he's off in Hollywood living it up on the back of this song, you still need him to be likable for his character arcs to have any meaning. You know what I mean? If you're going more down the Harry Styles, Justin Bieber route with this, it ain't going to work. It's not going to work at all because you simply can't translate that kind of personality. Then you definitely couldn't get one of them to play this. Incidentally, the song is brilliant. I was singing the song to myself all day long afterwards. I actually went on Spotify to check. They've not released it yet. They've not released the song yet. It's not on Instagram stories either, because I checked there too. The only place I can find a copy of this song, and this tells you how the film was made in part, is there are recordings of it on like YouTube's vertical video platform.
Oh yeah, shorts.
Yeah, where people have filmed actual Jonas Brothers concerts. And in between like bits when they're resetting the stage, etc., they sort of blocked it off, and they've had Nick Jonas in character perform this to the Jonas Brothers audience.
What a great idea!
And that's how they filmed it. You're like, okay, this makes all the sense in the universe. And actually, you never question it when you're watching the film. You never really question it, but I did at one point think, did they get this many people in a room? Because it's quite impressive. That doesn't look like VFX. That looks like a real audience. Like, those look like individual people. I don't see a cardboard cutout in there anywhere. You know what I mean? And very clearly that's how they've done it. I think it's a win, but I don't think it's Carney's strongest film. That being said, John Carney phoning it in is still a damn sight better than most other filmmakers' top-tier efforts. And like I say, you've seen Once. You know how charming and wonderful Once was.
Loved it, yeah.
Yeah, right. How good is the song in Once? The Falling
Brilliant.
Slowly. Yeah, brilliant song, right? Yeah. Begin Again, same kind of thing. Brilliant songs. And I don't remember Sing Street actually having an original song. I think Sing Street was all licensed music. It was punk bands of the late 70s and early 80s. But you will love Begin Again and Sing Street. But I will let you know on Flora and Son. But I have to say, Power Ballad, I thought it hit the beats. It had good rhythm. I think it's a banging new single from Carney, even if it feels ever so slightly more like a B-side.
The only thing I would personally say, and you might have something to say about this, is the title of the movie is really rubbish, in my opinion. And I'll tell you why. Because they could have named the movie anything they wanted because they just needed to make the song have that title.
Well, the song doesn't have the song title Power Ballad.
No, I know, but what I mean is they could have called the movie something that really drew you in, and it was called that because it's the name of the song that they write. Obviously, it's got to have sort of love connections and stuff, but I just thought,
They, to be fair, they do write a power ballad, and also the title drum and bass wouldn't have quite worked as well.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have gone to see that one, let's be honest.
The title D&B Banger would not quite have worked anywhere as well.
But if you'd like to go and see Power Ballad, you can, because that is in cinemas from right now. We've got one movie to talk about this afternoon. It's a comedy, and it's called My Mother's Wedding. We're going to talk about it next. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen for one last ride then. We are going to talk about My Mother's Wedding. Not literally, because that was a long time ago, but we are going to talk about the new movie that is a comedy. Is this your kind of just your average rom-com, Van, or is it something special?
Oh, it's not your average rom-com. It's definitely something special. I'll definitely give it that. I'm not saying this in a positive way at all. Okay, Let's take this one from the top. Okay. Also, by the way, this is proof positive that I need to write the script and the running order that we do these movies after I've seen the movies, because I would not have left this till last. You know what I mean? Power Ballad would have been a better one to end on. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, by the way, Power Ballad, I never got to say that. Havana Rose Liu, who played the girlfriend in Tuna, she's also Nick Jonas' girlfriend in Power Ballad. That was the connection I didn't get to make. So yeah, both thankless, love interest roles. So clearly her career's doing well. Anyway, so directorial debut by Kristen Scott Thomas. I know this because Kermode told me this with real enthusiasm before we started watching it. We sat down in Universal screening rooms, which has been closed for a few weeks due to water damage. They just reopened it, and they're going to keep it running for a little while they're waiting on more spare parts and do a whole retrofit. So we sat there waiting for this to start. And we all sit in our designated seats, and I'm usually a couple seats over from him. And someone asked, like, is this the one that's got Kristen Scott Thomas in it? And I went, yeah, it is. And Kermode then chikes up with, and it's her directorial debut, you know. As if this was a real moment of stature. I'm like, does he have a thing about Kristen Scott Thomas? I've never heard that, but okay, sure. I know he has a thing about Emma Thompson. Like, he will grab you by the throat if you ever say that Alan Rickman was right in Love Actually. But apparently Kristen Scott Thomas, another one on that list. Anyway, so Kristen Scott Thomas has directed this. This is her feature directorial debut. Because it's Kristen Scott Thomas, naturally there are at least two characters who speak French, despite the fact that this is set in England. It stars Thomas alongside, let me see if I'm remembering this right. It's Emily Beecham, Sienna Miller, and Scarlett Johansson. I want to stress again, this is a British-made film set in Britain that does star Scarlett Johansson as a captain in the Royal Navy. So,
What?
you can imagine the fresh hell you're in for when you hear the accent in the clip I'm going to play in a moment. Right, so, Mum had a husband back in, I think it was in the 60s? I don't know because her age is somewhat indeterminate. He was a pilot in the Royal, he was a Royal Navy pilot who was killed in action. He also had a best friend who was like a second father to, I think it's his first two daughters, the surviving first two daughters, and he and the mum then got together and had a third child, and then he died flying planes for the Royal Navy as well. So, two dads both went out the same way. It is now time for Mum's third wedding to a man whose surname, hilariously, is Loveglove. Something that actually comes up in the clip. I'm not making that up. Right. The daughters all, convene for the wedding. They've all got their own individual personal dramas. Scarlett Johansson obviously is about to take command of a naval carrier and is feeling estranged and distanced from her partner and their son. Emily Beecham thinks her husband is cheating on her. He's kind of a douchebag who's never around. So she's installed Ring cameras around the house. And Sienna Miller is just unlikable. Oh, she also plays a character. Sorry. She's an actress who's a bit full of herself and kind of snotty. And the three of them don't necessarily agree with Mum's wedding, but they're all trying to work out their own personal dramas as they're going through with all this. By the way, did I mention Kristen Scott Thomas directed this? Here's a clip.
Mummy, tonight is your last night as a Munson.
What? You're not going to change your name again?
Mrs. Jeffrey Loveglove.
It's a beautiful name. It's not his fault.
Mummy Loveglove.
You could take over from here, Sean. Dangerous mission tomorrow. I've got to get my mother down the aisle and deal with my sisters.
Who is an usher? Where on earth can the bridesmaids be? Me. Oh, Katie.
Jack, thank God you're here. Everyone wishes it was you two getting married tomorrow.
We are happy as it is, Mum.
I told you not to come.
Careful, it's quite heavy.
I thought you were still married. So you want my permission for my daughter to become your official mistress?
I think you are looking for a father figure. It's pretty bloody obvious.
Why do all Americans think English talk like the Queen?
Did you ever see? Well, I mean that's not strictly speaking true. And the example I was about to bring up, because it was something I was reminded of whilst watching this, will prove that. Have you ever seen? You won't have seen the film, but you will have seen the clip of Pacino playing a Cockney. Al Pacino when he plays a Cockney.
No, I haven't seen it.
All right, I will find this when we get off. Mic, I will find you this clip. It is the most insane thing you've ever seen. Right? It is the only thing worse than Scarlett Johansson in this movie, right? Scarlett Johansson, who does that, I don't know where they get it from, but like you said, they all think we speak like the Queen, but they all, for some reason, can't do the accent unless they're doing it in duck face. You know that sort of pursed lip, duck face thing where I can't. She's doing it all the way through. It's like, Jesus, Scarlett, we know you've had more filler, but god damn. But yeah. So, you've got Scarlett Johansson, who's uninteresting. You've got Sienna Miller, who's unlikable. And then you've got Emily Beecham, who's unmemorable. As I like to then say, they also play characters. Kristen Scott Thomas is, I'm sure, having a great time. I assure you nobody else watching this does, though. Good Lord. I honestly, I was watching this thinking, this feels like a movie made by M&S. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the time it took us to finish this movie and walk to the next screening room, which is roughly 25 minutes, they were very gung-ho about sending out the production notes for it. And the minute they came through, you know what I'm like? I can't resist reading an email aloud with sarcasm. And it's we just wanted to make sure you had the production notes for this, and my response was, yes, God forbid there were any of the finer details of the production of this lavish dramatic extravaganza that I might be lacking. I might not know how many different blends of Sauvignon they got through during filming. You know, it's very much that kind of film. The whole thing looks, because we're about that time of year. You know that time of year when you get the M&S summer barbecue ads?
Oh, yeah.
You know the ones? That's what this feels like all the way through, because it's all garden tents and, you know, nice melamine wine glasses and stuff. You know what I mean? It's all like that. And everyone's wearing the summer the sundress and things like, what are we doing here? Like, if it was, I mean, I got that I was near dying of heat stroke whilst I'm watching it, but to then just philander the proceedings with this unmitigated M&S barbecue ad just felt like adding insult to injury. No, absolutely not. This aggression will not stand, man. No, this was dire. Everything about it is predictable and just trite and hacky. And then you get to the end of the film, right? And remember, Kristen Scott Thomas directed this. Did you know? You get to the end of the film, right? And as soon as it fades to black on the most hackneyed, cliched ending, but the only bit of imagination, of the film required, obviously, being the final shot of that ending, which is effectively a drone shot. I'm not making that up. It then fades to black. It puts pictures up of 2 Royal Air Force pilots or Royal Navy pilots, and it says dedicated to my 2 dads. You're like, okay, I see. So because you had the 2 dads, you thought the world was crying out for this story. Okay, I'd maybe stick to the French thing, honey. No, stick to that. The whole adopted French woman thing. Just, you're better at that. You are infinitely better at that than you are. I mean, I'm not saying Kristen Scott Thomas is not likable. If Kristen Scott Thomas could order me to jump off a bridge, and I would absolutely do it. But no, she could not convince me to watch another movie this bad.
Well, if you would like to make your own mind up and see if it really is that bad, or maybe you just want some air conditioning while it's still this hot, My Mother's Wedding is out in cinemas from now. Okay then, Van. Movie of the week. What are you going to go for? I think I know which one.
Oh, it's an easy power ballad.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah,
that's what I thought you'd choose.
There's no sort of debate there, I don't think.
Next week then, Van. What are we excited about?
Well, next week we have Enzo, which is a foreign language drama about defying expectations from your family in Ukraine. So that one sounds interesting enough. We've then got, and I cannot figure out how to pronounce this title, Erupja, I think it's called, which is a movie starring Charlie XCX. So, don't know quite what to make of that one. I mean, to be fair, the last movie Charlie XCX was in was actually pretty good. That was The Moment, like 6 weeks or so ago. And you can't have missed the advertising on this one. And we've been talking about this for a while, you and I, jokingly. Masters of the Universe is next week. The He-Man movie is next week. And I know people who've seen it, right? I know.
Is it
people
meant for kids?
Well, it seems to be aimed at the sort of Dungeons and Dragons movie crowd from like 2 years ago. Like, It seems they're going for the humour, I think. But again, I have to ask the question, and none of the people I know who've seen this could answer this, which is, I'm sorry, who in the hell is this aimed at? Because, like, you and I are the He-Man age, and neither of us wants to see a He-Man movie. But we're gonna. So,
no, that's right. That is right. I
yeah.
mean, He-Man was not as big as Mario. Mario, all every day, all day, right? But He-Man, grew out about 8 years old.
You actually said it best last week. I think you said to me, I don't know if it was on mic or off, when you said, don't really care about a He-Man movie, but you give me a Thundercats movie, I'm in.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm down for that. You give me I think there is actually more mileage. There's more audience mileage in a Thundercats movie than there is a He-Man movie. But I've not seen the movie yet. And you know what? It's got Idris Elba in it. It's got Fisto, my favourite He-Man character. As long as it's got Fisto, my favourite Eternia warrior, in there.
What about Mum-Ra?
Oh, Mum-Ra's in there, because Mum-Ra's played by Jared Leto.
Ah, great. Oh, see, I reckon this might be all right. You know, we might be surprised.
I live to be surprised. I mean, to be honest, my expectations for a Masters of the Universe movie in 2026 are genuinely so low that it would have to actively try to let me down. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is Tron 3 again. Like, I'm not expecting much, so this is your game to lose, boys. And then they lost. So, you know what I mean? Also a movie that starred Jared Leto, incidentally, if we're keeping tabs.
We will find out next week. I'm on tenterhooks now to find out if this is going to be a decent movie or not, but we will find out next week when we chat more. But that is all we have time for this week on Off Screen. We will be back next week. Until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor. Keep it cinematic, and we shall return.